가장 경계해야 할 사람은 가장 가까이에 둬야겠죠.
당신이 어디 있든 내가 당신을 찾아갈 겁니다. 때문에 무고한 사람들을 죽게 할 순 없으니까.
At first glance, Madam Choi Yoo-jin from K2 seems like your classic antagonist. A ruthless, powerful woman, willing to do whatever it takes to maintain control. But as the story unfolds, we realize she is far more than just a villain. She is captivating, complex, and somehow difficult to blindly hate. This video is going to explore why Madame isn't just an antagonist, but arguably the protagonist of her own war, a woman who is unpredictable as she is mesmerizing. Madame remains one of the most compelling characters in K-drama history that I've personally seen. The world of K2 is not one of simple heroes and villains. It's a battlefield where businessmen, politicians, and power-hungry figures manipulate and betray each other for control. It's this chaotic war where everyone can be a villain to someone. Madam Choi isn't just surviving, she's leading. From a strategic standpoint, she's a protagonist of her own battle, while K2 and Anna serve as the audience's moral compass. Madame is fighting a different war, one against greater threats, betrayals, and a system that never allowed her to show weakness. Her actions are ruthless, even cruel, but in her world, they're necessary. She's not just evil for the sake of it, she does what she must to stay in power. And when we see how much she has to fight to survive, it becomes nearly impossible to see her as purely evil if you're looking objectively, deeply into the total story and her scenario compared to others. One of the most intriguing aspects of Madam Choi is her relationship with K2. In a world where she holds power over everyone, he is one of the few people she can't control, and yet she still finds herself drawn to him. We as viewers are captivated by her being captivated by K2. Despite what her team thinks, despite what Chief Secretary Kim, no, it is Chief Kim, despite what Chief Kim thinks, she continuously supports him, provides him with the resources, and trusts him in ways she wouldn't trust anyone else. It's not about love. It's not just a business partner. It's a power dynamic wrapped in admiration, obsession, and something deeper. For a woman who has spent much of her life being feared, here is a man who doesn't fear her, who stands before her as an equal, someone who knows Madame and can read her heart without speaking and act on her behalf without orders. This dynamic keeps us hooked, makes every scene between them so electrifying. I just gotta add, do you know when you're watching, or if you ever listen to some ladies talk, and if you can do what they want without them having to tell you, ladies get so excited. And you can see it on her face, like, you mean he did this without me having to tell him? Madam Choi isn't just dangerous. She's unpredictable. One moment she's composed and calculated, and the next she's a storm of emotions. We never fully know what she's thinking, and again, that keeps us hooked. She orders deaths, plays mind games, I know, and she manipulates everyone around her. But beneath all of that, there's always an air of mystery. She isn't blindly evil, and that's what makes her fascinating. There's mystery in her past. There's mystery in her motivations. The real question is, not just will she win, but do we even want her to lose? And we know that Madam Choi wasn't always like this. Before she became this ruthless strategist we see, there was a woman who might have once believed in something better. But whatever goodness she had was stripped away from her by a world she was thrust into clearly by her father, her marriage, and the power-hungry system around her. She's not just a villain by nature, but a product of her world. The idea that she could have been something different makes her a little more tragic and even more impossible to look away from. Beyond the power, beyond the cruelty, Madam Choi is a woman trapped in a loveless, humiliating marriage. Her husband, Jang Soo-jun, is a spineless man who cheats on her openly, disrespects her, yet she keeps him afloat because she built him, sacrificed for him, and he is essentially the center of her tragic bewitching. So she won't / can't simply let him go. She is powerful, yet alone. She has control over so much, yet she lacks the one thing that can bring her peace: love. She yearns for it. And we see glimpses where we can empathize with her, the longing in her eyes, the dramatic music. It's this contradiction that makes her so incredibly human. Do you guys remember when K2 saved her? Oh, now she was looking at him? Now Anna versus Madam. Anna represents the purest victim, innocent, naive, and locked away. But unlike most K-drama leads, she lacks agency and decision-making power. She relies entirely on K2. This is why Madame feels like the true counterbalance to K2. She is rich, smart, and ruthless, while K2 is an elite fighter with a strict moral code. They complete each other in ways that Anna simply doesn't. Now I really want to explain that one a little clearer. So for example, especially in a romance, right? It'll be a rich CEO that kind of doesn't know all the things he needs to know, and then the lady hypothetically is a scientist. She knows everything that she needs, and the two of them together, they complete each other, and they obviously become a couple. Or the lady is extremely rich, but she's a damsel when it comes to physical confrontation, so the man that she finds is the most manliest guy. He could fight, but he's not really that wealthy. Or you are very wealthy, shout out to strong woman Bong Soon, okay? You can fight decently well, very well, but you don't got super strength. So your lover, she got the super strength. But in the case of the K2, Anna doesn't have a single thing, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, that complements K2 or makes up for what he lacks. Unless it's innocence, maybe that's what she represents. But Madam essentially lacks the things that K2 lacks because she has the tools he doesn't. He can't kill, but he wants to get rid of her enemies or his enemy, and Madam can do the killing for him or pull the trigger, however you want to cut and dice this thing. They actually complete each other when it comes to accomplishing the mission. So it's like Madam is his work wife and Anna is his wife. That's actually the analogy. Work wife, wife. That's Anna and Madam. So we know that the relationship with Madam can never truly work as a viewer, but there's just something about it that just works. And there's also a lot of things about it that just doesn't. But for the part that does work, woo! That's exciting. It's like junk food. You know it's bad for you. You know it can't be good in the long term, but it's delicious right now. So anyways, going into why a viewer would struggle to root for Anna's freedom. Anna's freedom isn't just escaping Madame. It's being used by her uncle, who is just as corrupt. So if Madame falls, is Anna really free? Or is she just another pawn in someone else's game? You see, at the moments in the story where Anna is trying to get this freedom, she's going into the arms of the ops. And we know that this is not real freedom. This is just manipulation. So it's cringe to watch because for much of the story, Anna can't find freedom in a way that doesn't put Madam at a disadvantage and keeps the board kind of balanced. And even though she's such an innocent girl, you still don't want to see Madam lose to those people, you know? It's one thing if Madam loses to Anna or K2, but you don't want to see Anna and K2 disappear and then Madam loses to the other evil people in the show. Anyways, so is Madam Choi a villain? Well, absolutely. But she isn't only a villain. She's a survivor, a strategist, a woman who's lost her way, and that's why people like me love her. So now I'm really going to go off on a tangent here, right? And really summarize everything I just said and just like really just talk to you guys, okay? So, and I try to stay away from like the contents of the reaction, so I'm still kind of keep it generic, but go to me personally. As far as the channel goes, everyone likes Madam, but they have different little nuances. I don't dislike Anna like at all. It's just that her screen time compared to Madam's screen time is not, her acting performance compared to Madam's acting performance is not really comparable. You know, her lines, her dialogue, the complexity of her story, it just doesn't see Madam's. And yes, I do typically like villains, but Madam is more, if it was just about villains, you know, then I would be hyping up her brother, I'd be hyping up, I don't know, the other guy, Jang, who she was going against, but Madam is truly, truly complex and captivating. People will say, oh, you just like Madam because she's beautiful. Anna's beautiful too. They're both beautiful people. But again, the class, the sophistication, the mystery, Madam got that. So that's one of the reasons, that's why I find her such a captivating character and so interesting. I don't feel like you even have as great as a show if you remove her from the show. Or even if you have a subpar actress that says or does the same things, like says the same lines but doesn't deliver it. You know, those little face expressions that she has and how she be rubbing it into her husband's face. Those little mannerisms make the character interesting. Not good, not righteous. And when we root for her, when a viewer like me roots for her, again, I want to be very clear. People like me, there's all these different little factions. We never root for her to actually hurt Anna. We root for her to conquer her husband, get her husband in office, and accumulate more power. And we hope that she can do that without hurting Anna. If Anna's trying to be free, we want her to be free in a way that doesn't put Madam at a disadvantage by going into the arms of her enemy. Like Anna and K2 just running away to another country, that's perfectly fine. Anna and K2 running into the arms of the enemy, people like me, those are the things that we're going to have an issue with. If you're new to this video, you're like, why is Lee talking about this, like this rant at the end? It's because I made this entire video about why people like me like Madam and what our feelings were about, you know, Anna, which is just neutral. She just exists in the show. She's very nice, very cute, whatever. But watching her make decisions sometimes is tough because she doesn't have the experience to make good decisions. And you have to constantly remind yourself that she's innocent. She doesn't know any better. So, of course, she's going to make these kind of decisions. And, of course, she's going to want to be free. Who wouldn't want to be free? But when you're involved or you're captivated by Madam's plot and what she's trying to achieve, and you see, or you can see the foreshadow, or you can see the danger of the horizon with Madam's enemies, as they would try to weaponize Anna against her, if you are a Madam fan, it's just gonna make it hard to root for Anna, you know. But of course, a person like me wants to see that girl happy and ride off into the sunset. Just want the best for Madam. But anyways, what do you guys think? Does this sound reasonable? Do you listen to, as the 20% who dislike Madam or can't understand why we like Madam? Does this offer any clarity, or in the same exact boat? My thing is, for people that watch this video that didn't like Madam, I don't think you should change. You can like whoever the heck you want to like. I just think you should be more understanding on people's points of views and how we digest media very differently, you know? On the reaction side, I've had people like, oh, it's such a shame that you're so into Madam that you can't appreciate Anna's writing. I'm having a good time. Why aren't people like this? Why can't people just let people enjoy things the way they want to enjoy? Talk and have discussions about it, because it would be so boring if everyone just thought the same way and had the same opinions. Anyways, that's my rant at the end. And I have nothing else to say. So I usually don't do videos like this, but this one definitely got my attention. I think I should start doing series on antagonists, like the best antagonists of the last decade or so, the top 5, top 10 K-drama antagonists that I've seen. Let me guys know if you guys want videos like that, or just in general, based on the fact that I do these reactions, what kind of videos would you like to hear me talk on? Until next time, I'm YaBoyRocklee. I'm out. And you know I couldn't stop at just one channel. Consider subscribing to the subsidiary channels for YaBoyRocklee, found in the description of this video. Thank you.